Namaste students, myself Sunil Kumar from the Department of Computer Science. Today we are moving to the next session based on the chapter web designing. So last class also we discussed with the same chapter web design. Here also we are continuing the same chapter web designing, and today's our topic is forms and frames. Forms and frames. How we are going to study how we can create the form, dynamic forms, and also how we can going to create the frames that we are going to study in this session. In the last session, in last session we discussed about hypertext or hyperlink. Normally we discussed about the hyperlink, how to create the hyperlink. When you are going to create the hyperlink, we have to use with the anchor tag. We have to use anchor tag. By using that anchor tag, we can create the hyperlink. The hyperlink mainly use the one attribute, the main one attribute. There are different attributes are there. The main attribute is href, hyperlink reference. We are using one main attribute, that is hyperlink reference. So by using that one, we can link the text, or we can link the data, or we can link the images, some phrases or some link text also possible, or by clicking the images is possible to navigate to other web page or the same web page in certain section or to other website. So by like that we can move to the different sections in a same web page, or it's possible to navigate from one web page to another, that is used by using the HTML hyperlinks. That also we discussed. And next we discussed about HTML list. List means if you want to, some web authors will be there. Some web authors, they want to write some paragraphs or some data they want to write, or something they have to write in a web page, means they can make use of the HTML list. List means data will be displayed in a order. Data will be displayed in a order. There are three types of list available. One is unordered list, ordered list, and definition list. These are the mainly three types of list is available: unordered list, ordered list, and definition list. The types of list is available in case of HTML: unordered, ordered, and definition. Unordered means normal like bullets. Normal like bullets, data is displayed. Ordered means data uses the numbers, either different types of kinds of numbers, either different schemes of numbers. One is 1, 2, 3, 4 also possible, A, B, C, D also possible. Sometimes Roman letter 1, 2, 3 also possible. There are different types of orders. The next one is definition list. The definition list is mainly used to display the data in the form of dictionaries. In dictionary, how data is displayed. Like that, if you want to display the data, then we are making use of definition list. The next we discussed about the HTML tables. What's the HTML table? If you want to arrange the data neatly, in web page, then we are using the HTML tables. HTML tables are used. So HTML tables mainly contains table tag. Mainly it uses the table tag. By using that table tag, we can create the tables. If you take the table tag contains different tags. The first tag is caption tag, that is for give the caption for entire table. Then next one is table tr tag, table row. It is known as table row or tr tag. So it is possible to give the different table row or create the different table row. Then we are using the tr tag. Next one is a th tag, table header tag, that is used to create the table header. The next one is td tag, that is known as table data. If you want to create the table data, then td tag is used. These are the different tags used in case of HTML tables. The next we are going to discuss about forms. A form is a web page which allows the user to enter information. Mainly form is a web page that allows the user to enter information. We can say dynamic. When web page is open, so if you want to enter the data dynamically, if you are going to apply some examinations, best example, if you want to going to apply some examinations, then we are using the forms. By using that forms is possible to enter the data dynamically, that is web pages in case of forms. So it is also allows the user to interact with the content of this form. Is also possible to interact with the users, means dynamic web pages if you want to create. Dynamic web pages if you want to create, then we are using the form tag. To insert a form, we have to use the form tags. If you want to insert a form in your web page, we have to make use of form tag. The form tag mainly contains starting and ending tag. Form tag mainly contains starting tag and ending tag, or we can say opening and closing form tags. The rest of the form elements such as text boxes, check boxes and pull down menus and so on, there are different types are there, must be inserted between form tag. Remember, if you want to insert any data or if you want to insert any other form tag, that should be enclosed within a form. So remember, form should be written inside the body should be enclosed with the HTML. So inside HTML, body tag, inside the body tag, form tag, inside the form tag you can create the different types of input method. It's possible to create the different types of input method like that. Text box we can create, check box we can create, pull down menus we can create, or any other things, or passwords we can create like that. Different types of input types you can create in case of forms. Remember, form is a interactive web page. If you use the forms, the page will be interactive. Till now what we studied, HTML tables, list or basic tag, whatever it is, that is not a dynamic one, that is a static one. What you created with the time of development, that will be displayed. But in case of forms is not like that. That user can enter the data. When web page is running, at that time user can enter the data and they can fill the details. That is in case of form tag. So here the form tag, how can you create the form? If you are going to create the form tag is required. Then two attributes are there. There are two attributes are there. One is method and action. One is method attribute and second one is action attribute. Method means how to send the data. Whenever form, if you enter the details, when you are going to enter the details, we have to, after filling the form, you have to send the data. We have to send the data to other page or other database. So when you are going to send the data, how to send the data? There are method you have to mention. Either post method or get method. The two methods are available. That is not there for you, but there are two methods are available. One is post method, one more is get method. Which one you have to use? That also we can mention. Then action. We are of the URL of the script. URL, where which address you have to send. For which address or which database, if you want to send the form details, that should be mentioned in the action. So that is two parts. One is form contains mainly two attributes. One is method and action. Inside the form takes two attributes. One is the method and action. This attribute accept get or post. Already I told accept two methods. One is get and post method or post value. There are two values are available. One is a get and one more is post. Post is by far the more popular. It is a more popular one, post method. It allows for a greater amount of data to be sent. It's possible if you want to send the greater amount, huge amount of data is there in forms, that is sent by using the post method. And get method is a little easier, but it is easier to programmer, but it's possible to for single response, only one response or a single, for example, username and password. Like that is there, means it's better to use the get method. But post method, that is difficult, but it's possible to send the huge amount of data. Huge amount of data can be sent using the post method. Action. Next one is the second is action. It simply accepts the URL for the script. Simply accept the URL for the script that will process the data from your form. That will process the data from your form. Will take the data and that will be processed. That should be action. The next difference between the get and post methods in of a form. The post method is used to send the sensitive information. The mainly post method is used to send the sensitive information such as password, credit card numbers and etc. Because that is not visible to the user. That is not visible to the user and not possible to hack by the users or not possible to hack by the hackers. The next is get method. Get method appends the data along with the URL. Get method appends the data along with the URL. Source it is secure less than post method is a not secure data, because which data you entered, that will be allocated, that will send along with the URL, along the URL data is going to send. So easy to hack, it is easy to hack the details. The next, form elements. Next is form elements. The form element have properties such as text box. Text box is available, password box is available, check box is available, radio button, submit and reset. These are the different form elements. Not only this, there are other form elements also there, but only this much is given. The properties which are specified the type attribute of the HTML document. We have to use mainly type attribute. That attribute is input here. We have to use one tag, that is known as input. The input contains type attribute. See, properties are specified in the type attribute of the HTML element. So normally in case of form, we are using one tag, that is known as input. That input tag contains attribute. The input tag mainly contains one attribute. That attribute is known as type. In that you have to mention which type you want, either text box or password, checkbox, whatever it is. That should be mentioned inside that type attribute. First one is input tag. If you take the input, the first property is input type. First one is input type. This value indicates the type of input entry. It indicates the type of input entry field, which can be include text, password and all. Can be include type, text will be possible, password is possible, or buttons, anything, whatever it is, that is possible in case of type. The next, name. Second attribute is name. It represents a variable name passed to the CGI application. It represents the name of the particular type or input. The next one is value. The data associated with the variable name. The data associated with the variable name to be passed to the CGI application. Means CGI, leave the CGI application, the name associated with, data associated with the variable name. Then checked. This value indicates the button or box, or by default if you want to keep the check. By default if you want to keep the tick mark, then if you are using the checked. The next one is the size. The value indicates the number of character in a text field. It is mainly used in text field. How many text if you want to enter. Size, that is in case of size. The next one is max length. This value indicates the maximum number of characters that can be accepted. Maximum length of the text box, that is written in the max length. But here important one is type. Important one is type attribute. Type attribute, you have to specify the data. The first one is type input. Input types. The first one input type is text box. If you want to input the data, that these boxes are used to provide the input field for text, phone numbers or name, data and all. If you want to insert your name, for example, an application name, enter your name is there. So you have to enter your name. If you want to create that type of text, then we are make use of the input type equal to text. Input type is equal to text, and you can give the name as student name. You can give the name as student name, and size is 30, means 30 characters will be visible. 30 characters is maximum size. So you can enter the name within the 30 characters. The next input type is password. First one is text box. So it is a normal text you can enter. You can enter the name, number, phone numbers, field, any other thing, any data possible. But next one is a password. These boxes are allowed to use and enter the password. These boxes are used to enter the passwords. Normally, if you enter the password, that will be displayed in the bullets or filled circles. Normally say the filled circle or bullets. So data will be displayed in a bullet. That is input type is equal to password. Input type is equal to password, name is equal to any name you can give, but input type should be a password. So data can be entered in a bullets. That is input type is equal to password. The next type is input type is checkbox. Input type is checkbox. These boxes are used to allow the user to select more than one option. If you want to select more than one option, then we are mainly using the checkbox. If you want to select more than one option, then we are using the select. Select is used to select more than one option, that is checkbox. So example is input type is equal to checkbox. Input type is equal to checkbox means, so it is allows to user to select the multiple options. The next one is radio button. Radio button allows the user to select only one option. Radio button is mainly used to select only one option. If for example gender is given means either you can select male, female or any other. 3 options will be available. So we have to select only one in that case. So in that case mainly we are using radio buttons. In that case. Input type is equal to radio. So we studied about radio buttons, checkbox, password and text. The next one is submit button. This is the element that causes the browser to send the names, values element to the application or along with the caption attribute of the form element. So submit button, that will send, if you press the submit, automatically that will apply the post or get operation. Data will be sent to the applications. CGI applications, or we can say it is data will be sent to the any database. If you use the submit button. Example here is input type is equal to submit. And value you can give submit the form. Any value you can give, but input type should be a submit. The next one is reset. Reset is used to clear all the inputs. If you type any input, that all the input can be cleared. By using the reset button. So you can create the one button, input type is equal to reset. And value we can give anything. Reset the form, clear the form, anything that we can set, but input type should be a reset. The next one is text area. Before moving the text area, one more type of input is also available. Like a reset or submit. One more type, that is input type is equal to button. If you create the button, automatically it will create one button. You have to give the values. So if you give that value, that will be displayed on that one. So automatically OK. If you want to type OK means you can use the submit. Instead of submit button, we can create OK button. So button if you created means that you have to use. Buttons are created. The next other form element used in a form. The main thing is text area. This element is enclosed by the tags text area. This element should be enclosed by a tags text area. There is no space. TEXTARE, text area tag. It is an element that allows for free from text entry. So if you want to enter the 2 lines, if you want to enter the address, sometimes 2 or 3 lines are required or 4 to 5 lines are required. At that time, instead of text box, we can use with the text area. We can enter the data with the text area. Sometimes if you want to enter remarks, sometimes in some web page, you have to give the feedback, type your feedback here, like that will become. Or sometimes you have to enter the remarks. At that time, we can use the text area tag. The text area tag contains one attribute, name attribute. Name attribute of is the text area tag. So it can enter the rows and columns. It will display 3 rows and 50 characters will be displayed. If you use the text area tag, that will display 3 rows and 50 characters will be displayed inside the text area. So you can enter the data. The next one is select tag. The select tag is used to create a drop down list. If you want to create a drop down list, that we have defined in a select tag. Select tag is a pair tag, starting tag and ending tag should be required in case of select. Starting tag is required and also ending tag is required in case of select tag. The select tag contains one more tag, that is option tag. Option tag. For example, if you want to give the 4 or 5 options, in that option you can select. For example, select your course, that you can give in a select tag. Either PCMB, PCMC, Commerce, BSBA, like the different options. So we can give any options, any number of options, but in that we can select only one, like a radio buttons. You can select only one option. Here also is possible to select only one option from multiple options. From multiple options, it's possible to select only one option in case of select tag. So it is a drop down list. So here we discussed with the text area and select tag. The next one is frame tag. Next one is frames. HTML frames are used to divide the browser window into multiple sections. Each section loads separate HTML document. For example, if you want to create a web page with the different sections, if you want to create the web page with the different sections, then we can use the frames. Remember, if you create the frames, each section will be loaded with the separate HTML document. Each section will be loaded with the separate HTML document. The collection of frames in the browser window known as frame set. The collection of frames in a browser window is known as a frame set. Normally, frames is used to divide the web pages. So, in a single web page, if you want to display the 2 web pages, or in a single web page, if you want to display the 3 web pages, at that time, it's possible to use the frames tag or frame tag. Frames tag we can use or frame set tag. So that will divide the pages into different sections. But if you create the different sections, the different section is loaded with the different data or different document. And remember, frame tag should be written in head part. The use of frames on a page, we have to use a frame set tag instead of body tag. You have to use frame set tag. Body tag is not necessary here. It is also possible to use a body tag, but instead of body tag, we are using the frame set tag. The frame set tag defines how to divide the window into frames. Frame set tag defines how to divide the window into a different frames. The row attribute of the frame set tag defines the horizontal frames. It's possible to divide the frames in rows, and also column attributes or calls attribute is also possible to divide the frames in vertical or columns. So frames, we can create the divider section either rows and columns. It's possible to divide the sections either in a rows or in a columns. Like that, if you want to divide. So if you want to divide either row or calls, like that 2 options are available in frame set. Either you can give row or from set calls. Like that, the 2 options are available. Each frame is indicated by frames tag. Each frame is indicated by frame tag. We have to different frames should be indicated by the frame tag. There are 2 tags are required. One is frame set tag, one more is frame tag. Frame set tag is used to divide the pages, is used to divide the window into different frames. That is a frame set. So frame set, if you are using, there are 2 attributes are there. One is row and calls. Either we can divide the web page or we can give the sections in a rows, or we can create the we can divide the web page into a column sections. Like that, we can use rows or columns. Here is an example how we can create the frame. So title tag is over. Then after that, after closing the body head tag, then here is the frame set tag. Frame set rows. Rows I given 10%, 80%, and last find 10%. 10%, 80%, 10% means it will create 3 rows or 3 sections will be created. 3 sections will be created. Not only one, here 3 sections are created, then 3 frames are required or 3 HTMLs are required. 3 documents are required. That 3 documents are specified in HTML. Here frame name, frame 1, frame 2, frame 3. The 3 frames are used. Frame name equal to top. Then source, from which HTML you have to give. That is a top frame dot HTML. Next, second frame, that is a main frame dot HTML. And last, bottom frame dot HTML. So 3 frames are used here. The main page is divided into 3 frames. That 3 frames in a row manner. Then 3 rows are displayed. Top, middle, and bottom. The 3 frames are displayed. So like that, 3 to 4, either number of frames are also possible. So here 3 frames, one is a 10%, 80%, last one is a 10%. Total it will be the 100%. Web page total will be the 100%. That first 10% is for first frame, last 10% for last frame, and middle 80% is from middle frame. Like that, we can divide the web page. So like that we can create the different frames in your web page. So this is also one example. Work out this example in your notepad. Open the notepad, write the same program and execute this one. Executing means save that one .html, just open with the browser. There is no other extra software is required to execute the frames. By here we reach our end of session today. In this session we mainly discussed with the dynamic web pages, how to create the dynamic web page. Dynamic web page means mainly we have to use the forms. The forms mainly contains form tag and input tag. Input tags also important, form tags also important. Inside the form tag, input tag will be there. Form tag should be enclosed with the body tag. Body tag should be enclosed with the HTML tag. Then that is for dynamic web page. Next we discussed with the HTML frames, how to create the HTML frame. That also we discussed. How to create the HTML frame? We have to use the frame set tag and frame tag. Frame set tag, that will divide the web page, that will divide the window into different sections. If you want to divide the web page into different sections, then we are making use of frame set tag. Then if you divide the web page, or if you are making 3 sections, 3 frames are required. If you are making 2 frames, then 2 frame tag is required. Number of frame is based on the number of the, how you can create based on the, it is number of frames. So if you create the frames, either rows also possible or columns also possible. Both is not possible together. Either you can create rows or columns. Number of frame is not only 2. It's possible to create the 3 frame, 4 frame, 5, 6 like that. It's possible to create n number of frames. So that is the frame tag. And work out the 2 example. If take 2 programs you take and work out with the HTML. How to work out? You have to open the notepad and you have to work with the HTML. While going to save, give the save as option. Give the save as option .html. Save as .html. So then open the particular icon, automatically it will be displayed. So by here I will wind up my today's session. Thank you.